So let's go ahead and talk about some of these housewives. Y'all know I'm gonna start from the bottom and go to the top. Y'all know how I always do. Now, y'all have heard we talked about Sheree the other day. Sheree Whitfield had announced that she was diagnosed with the C word. Y'all know what the C word is. We in a pandemic right now. Everybody is terrified of it. But apparently Sheree said that she was at a house party. Y'all thought I was throwing shade when I put that in the caption, and I said that Sheree, was infected after being at a house party. But apparently, it's true. These house parties in Atlanta are no joke. Y'all be thinking it's 5 or 6 people, 10 or 12 people at the house party. Let me see what my dog over here doing. Y'all be thinking it's like 5 people at the house party, and then at least one of them got the COVID and it spreads it to everybody. So Sheree got online recently and spoke with Hollywood Life, and she detailed like what had happened. And oddly enough, also she has infected her daughter. Her youngest daughter also was tested positive. Hold on, let me see if I can share this screen with y'all. We're gonna look at a little bit of what Sheree had to say. We ain't got nothing but time. We ain't got nothing but time. Hold on.
Well, now that I know what it is, I can say that it started probably around June 30th. June 30th, I started getting like a scratchy throat.
Okay.
A couple days later, I developed a cough, a really dry cough, but it's normal for me because every year when the seasons change, for the last 4 or 5 years, I started developing this, really dry cough. So with that came, maybe next day or whatever, I started getting like a headache, and I don't usually get headaches. Mm-hmm. And it was really, really bad, like where I could not sleep. And it was like more in your sinus area, like your eyes and your nose and your whole face is just hurting. And so I thought I had a sinus infection. So I started taking, or allergies. I started taking allergy medicine, and I did that for like 3 days, thinking, hoping, that's what the problem was. I had a low grade, I had fever. I started having I didn't have body aches yet. I was watching CNN, and Chris Como was on with our mayor, Keisha Bottoms, and she was talking about how she tested positive for COVID-19 and that she didn't have any symptoms, and that the only thing she had was a headache. Mm. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been having a headache for the past 3 days. And then she said it felt like a sinus infection, like it was a sinus headache. And I was like, that's what I'm feeling. So then with that came, body aches, your fever. I literally did not get out of my bed for 2 weeks. I did not eat for 1 week. You lose your taste and your smell. And I just could not eat. I would try to, force myself to eat like an orange and maybe a couple crackers a day. But that's literally what I ate for a whole week. I do have my, it's not back 100% my taste, but I have my smell. I'm trying to think what else. And just fatigue. All I want to do is sleep all day. And that's not me because, I like to work out. I like to, be active or whatever. I keep touching my eye because it's like throbbing in my eye right now. Yeah, it's just it's no joke. It's not, people need to take it serious. You really need to take it serious.
How do you think you got it? Do you have any idea? Did you trace it to being with somebody who's tested positive?
I think I did. For the most part, I stayed pretty safe. I wore my mask. When I would go to the grocery store, I didn't really go a lot of places at all. But so that's why I'm able to trace it back. I went to dinner. And I went to a girlfriend had a small gathering at her house for her birthday, and she had maybe 15 people. And I kind of stayed away because I didn't know the other people. I just kind of stayed with the 2 people that I knew, around. And then she had a brunch. She had a whole weekend thing. She had a brunch the 2 days later, and I went to the brunch, and there was maybe 8 people there. I didn't think anything of it. That was 2 weeks before I started seeing symptoms though. So I started telling them my symptoms, and, nobody's saying anything. I find out that her and her whole family, I don't know if this is where I got it from, but this is where I'm kind of tracing it. Her and her whole family ended up with COVID a couple days after her party when everybody was there. And this is the problem that I have with that, is that you have a moral obligation. If you know you contracted this and how deadly it is, then you should reach out to people who have been around you, whether they got it from you or, maybe at your house or whatever. You should reach out to people and say, hey, I tested positive for COVID. She ended up telling me, that she was embarrassed. She didn't want to, talk about it. This is nothing to be embarrassed about. Anybody can get it. It's not something that's, sexually transmitted or, anything like that. So people don't need to be embarrassed about talking about, they contracted COVID, because at the end of the day, you don't know who I have to come home to. You don't know who I'm going to be around. And I'm possibly, it's just not safe. So anyway, so the crazy thing is, after I posted that I had gotten, COVID, I got a text message. I actually got 2 text messages from someone saying, oh, you must have been at that party. And I'm like, are you sick? What do you mean? What party? So I picked up the phone, like, what party are you talking about? Because I had not gone to any, that was the only party I had gone to. And they said that, oh yeah, my friend's friend got sick there. And it was like 6 people.
She said a party, then she said a brunch.
COVID-19 at that party. And they never told me that. So I just wasn't happy about that.
Yeah. So do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned that you could pass on to people during this pandemic? Do you regret going to the party?
Hold on, yeah, I want to fast forward.
Safe people.
Yeah, I think that people need to be more cautious. And, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would not have gone to the party, even though it was like only 15 people. And at that time, it had opened back up. The city had opened back up. But, wearing a mask, of course, we're not wearing a mask at the parties. And it's so funny that not funny, but it's crazy that my family in Ohio, they all went to a party on July 4th. My one cousin, she kept her mask on the entire time. Everybody else, like at least 10, 12 of them got COVID-19. But my cousin who kept her mask on, she lives in a house with, most of these people did not get COVID. She tested negative while everybody else tested positive. And I think another thing that people need to watch out for is that even though when I started having my symptoms and I watched the mayor say, what her symptoms were, I kind of figured that's what it was. I have not left my house since July 3rd. I've been in this house since July 3rd. I've not left my house. People still may have only a few symptoms and they think it's, if you have symptoms, anything, then you need to stay home. You need to quarantine. And even when people are getting tested, I had tested and it still took 6 days for my results to come back. When my results came back positive, I'm still in the house. People are getting tested and they're thinking they're feeling fine and they're still going out and, mingling and, doing whatever, thinking that, oh, I feel fine. My test is probably going to come back negative. And they're not. And what they're doing is just going out contaminating, just getting other people sick.
Right. Has anyone else in your family tested positive?
Callie, my youngest daughter, she tested positive.
How's she doing?
She's doing good. Her symptoms were, she's young. Her symptoms were much different than mine. The only thing she lost taste and smell and fatigue. But other than that, she didn't have any of the, the.
Someone said, "Can we move forward?" I just wanted to I want to see the whole thing.
Okay. And how are you being treated?
I'm self-treating, self-medicating. I'm just really taking lots of, just trying to build my immune system back up. Lots of vitamin C, elderberry, sea moss, black seed oil. Just really lots of oranges and, things like that. Just trying to build my immune system back up. Like right now, when I tell you, I took my temperature right now, I got my little thing. I'm probably have a little fever right now. I am so hot right now.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
What is your advice for people then to not get this? And what precautions should people be taking seriously to not get this?
I mean, they got to stop with the partying and stop all these, these get-togethers and, going out without your mask. And, I just say the people who are having symptoms, they need to quarantine. They need to quarantine and just really take this, take this serious. People are literally dying every day from this. And, I thank God that, while I felt bad, I didn't feel, I'm still here. I'm still alive,
Right, right. You brought up the Atlanta mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms. She's been very vocal about what's happening. What are your thoughts on her? And do you think that she's doing enough?
I think she's doing a good job. I think what she's doing, I'm definitely per the mandate, the mask mandate. And I think she's doing what she feels is best for the people to try to keep, just trying to keep everybody safe and putting politics aside. I think wearing the mask is definitely necessary, and not just for you, but for other people. Like, think about other people. If you don't wear, how bad is it to go outside? I mean, it is, it's a little restraining a little bit because I can't breathe, with them on, but I still wear them because I want to protect myself and I want to protect other people, when I'm out. And I just think that people, I mean, she can't make people do, they should want to do it.
Right, right. Another thing that's kind of been happening.
Y'all believe her or nah? Press 1 if you believe Sheree. Press 2 if nah. I'm sending her well wishes. I don't know.
What do you think of her arrest? I don't know if you've spoken to her. And what do you think about what she's doing?
I think I actually went to a protest a while back, and Portia actually spoke. She spoke, and she did an amazing job. And I actually texted her after and said, "Oh my gosh, this is your next calling. Like, this is what you're supposed to do for real." Like, she is. I said, your grandfather is looking down. He is smiling. He is proud of you. She's really doing an amazing job. So kudos to her for, yeah.
Totally. Well, Sheree, we are getting a lot of COVID questions, but we're also getting a lot of housewife questions. So I've got to ask a few of those. Kenya recently said.
So do y'all want to hear the housewife
for season 13?
Wait.
Poor thing.
She coughing.
Kenya recently said that the casting's a shakeup for season 13. Who do you think should go and why?
I don't know. I don't like to get into that, who should be fired or who should not be fired.
We don't really care what Sheree's thoughts are on the housewives, do we? Do we care?
Back, receive their contracts and are there.
Right. So many OGs, across the franchise have left and come back. Besides yourself.
Okay, I'll stop there. So someone asked me, do I believe Sheree? I do. I mean, I will hope that she is not lying about having COVID. Someone also mentioned that, we didn't hear a peep about, her mom, and we still don't know the details of what happened and why she didn't report her mom missing until the blogs did. But there's that. But, at the end of the day, Sheree is who she is. Y'all already know who Sheree is and why she does what she does. She is seeking attention. At the end of this interview, I didn't want to go through it. It's a whole 25-minute interview. Y'all can watch it. I think it's on Hollywood Life on Instagram. At the end of this interview, she was being pressed about, what are her thoughts about this season. Of course, she don't know. She ain't there. But, she was saying if they would come to her with a solid offer, she would be more than happy to return, which we already know that. Now, as far as a solid offer, if they are in communications, absolutely not. I haven't heard that. But, Sheree would return. Everybody always say Sheree will turn for a Target gift card and some groceries. We already know Sheree has always been open to coming back from the real, to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because she didn't leave of her own accord. But there's that. You said attention. Glad we not in the room. You want to see the paperwork. I'm like, what is going on? All this coughing, it was too much theatrics. All this fanning. Oh my gosh, she fanning. Oh, and I got my little thing right here for my temperature. Like, why are you doing this on this live? You did not have to do that. Look, every time I cough, I be trying to press the mute button. Here we go. I don't want y'all to hear y'all. I don't want y'all to hear me doing all that, but it is kind of extra. I agree, but you know, it's Sheree. Now let's move on from Sheree. We done gave Sheree all we can. And if you're just getting here, go ahead and like this video, please, and thank you. Subscribe to my channel, all of that. It is like over 2,000 people in here. We're counting Facebook and YouTube, youtube.com, iamATLien Brown. Go ahead and like it. Thank you. And okay, now.